I've used every Samsung Fold since the Galaxy Z Fold 4, and when Samsung announced the Fold 8, I honestly expected to prefer the Fold 8 Ultra. But after living with both, it is actually the Z Fold 8 that surprised me the most. Now that doesn't mean that it is perfect though. There are some important things that you should know about before buying. For the first time, Samsung has given the Fold a passport-style design, making it wider and shorter than the Fold 8 Ultra. And the first thing that surprised me was this new wider main display. The 7.6-inch main display has a 4:3 aspect ratio, and in landscape that means that videos and movies are more immersive. Compared to the Z Fold 8 Ultra, there's much less letterboxing. Those are the black bars above and below the video. And I didn't expect this to make as much of a difference as it does. The new anti-reflective coating works really well, and combined with the 3000 nit display, the Fold 8 stays easily visible even out in the sun. Gaming in 120Hz on the Fold 8 is a blast, and because the display is wider, the controls sit further toward the edges, leaving more of the game visible. And you know, I used the Fold 8 in portrait mode more than I thought I would. Browsing the web, reading articles, books, all just feel so natural. But you know what you almost don't feel? That would be the crease, which is much less present on the Fold 8 compared to previous years, and the display is more uniform and flat overall. And this is in part thanks to a new titanium plate hinge system, but I'll talk more about durability soon. In portrait, the 4:3 aspect ratio fits your photos perfectly. Looking back through memories on this expansive edge-to-edge display is amazing. I mean, check this out, it's almost like you're holding your photos. Editing photos with Photo Assist is great too. You can edit your photo with a simple text prompt and the results are impressive. There is one thing I do miss though, and that would be Flex Mode. This lets you prop up your Fold like a mini laptop. The screen will intelligently split into two sections for media controls or say a large touchpad. You will now only get this on the Fold 8 Ultra. On the Fold 8, I did find myself using the tent mode from time to time to stand up the phone on my desk and have a video playing. Now, multitasking is one of my favorite things to do on the Fold 8, and while you do lose a little bit of vertical screen space compared to the Fold 8 Ultra, I never really found it to affect my workflow. You can still comfortably run now up to 3 apps side by side for next level productivity or distraction, depending on what you're doing. But in all seriousness, how cool is this? A tablet that still folds up small enough to comfortably fit in your pocket. The 2-in-1 folding form factor lets you do things that simply aren't possible on a traditional smartphone. But more than anything, I didn't expect to love this wider display on the Fold 8 as much as I do. It just feels so natural to use. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a folding phone or are you buying your first? Oh, and if you are enjoying this video, a like and a sub to the channel would be amazing. But what about the 5.5-inch cover screen? Surely the wider shape must make it less comfortable to use, right? Well, honestly, yes and no. Yes, one-handed use isn't quite as ergonomic as on the taller, narrower Fold 8 Ultra. The wider 10:16 aspect ratio means that reaching the opposite side of the keyboard often requires 2 hands. Thankfully, Samsung's one-handed mode does make this easier, and I show you how to set this up in my Fold 8 First Things to Do video, which I'll leave linked at the end of this review. That said, after just a couple of days, I completely adjusted to the wider shape. It still feels like a proper flagship phone rather than a compromise. And for things like messaging, browsing social media, quickly replying to emails, I never felt like I was missing out. Samsung hasn't cut any corners. The cover screen gets the same 3000 nits of brightness and smooth 120Hz refresh rate as the main display. So whether you're using the phone folded or unfolded, the experience feels consistently premium. The build of the Fold 8 plays a big role in why it is so nice to use. And when I first picked it up, I was delighted by how good it feels in the hand. At just 4.5mm folded, while not as slim as the Fold 8 Ultra, it is still remarkably thin. But more impactful than this is just how light it is. At just 201 grams, it is actually lighter than the S26 Ultra, and this makes holding the Fold 8 even for extended periods really pleasant. I have the lavender color here. It also comes in graphite, cream, and an online exclusive pistachio. As always, I will leave the purchase links down in the description. The slightly more rounded edges of the Armor aluminum frame make the Fold 8 easier to open compared to previous generation Folds, and this is a nice touch. The built-in fingerprint sensor is solid. Pro tip, I recommend setting up multiple fingers to easily unlock from any orientation. The speakers don't sound quite as good as on the S26 Ultra, but they are positioned in a way that you won't accidentally cover them with your hands in landscape mode. Now, whenever I review any folding phone, I always dedicate a section to long-term durability, because no matter how much these devices improve over time, the folding display and the hinge will remain their biggest long-term compromise. To Samsung's credit, they have made significant improvements to durability over the years. On the Fold 8, the hinge feels super solid and firmly snaps into place. It has an IP48 rating for dust and water protection. Samsung has also reinforced the display with new titanium panels that are up to 20 times stronger than before. And all of these changes should contribute to making the Fold 8 the most durable fold Samsung has released so far. That said, I still don't think any folding phone is likely to match the long-term durability of, say, a traditional flagship like the S26 Ultra. That's simply a trade-off that comes with having a device that folds. Having said all of that, my experience has been very positive. My Fold 8 has been flawless so far, and the Fold 7 that I used last year for about a year has held up with zero signs of damage. And I do believe that with a bit of extra care, the Fold 8 is likely to last for a long time. But to see how the Fold 8 is going to hold up over the long run, be sure to subscribe to not miss my long-term review. Let's talk cameras. The Fold 8 has a dual camera setup, no triple camera like on the Fold 8 Ultra. Personally, I don't miss the 3x telephoto as much as I miss the Ultra's 200 megapixel main camera. That said, the Fold 8's 50 megapixel main and 50 megapixel ultra-wide cameras still produce strong results. What I really like is that the photos strike a nice balance between looking vibrant without becoming over-processed. Colors remain natural while still having some pop. Dynamic range is also very good. Even in high contrast scenes, the camera does a solid job balancing bright highlights with darker shadow areas. The main camera does give a 2x crop mode, which I use often for products or for portraits. Even at 10x zoom, while it can't match the Fold 8 Ultra, I was pleasantly surprised by how usable the results still were. One thing I did notice is the color profile between the main and ultra-wide cameras doesn't always match perfectly. It's not a huge issue, but I'd love to see Samsung make those colors a little bit more consistent when switching between lenses. For video, you can shoot at up to 8K and 30 FPS, and it even supports log recording, giving you more flexibility when color grading or applying LUTs. Video quality itself is excellent. Exposure adapts smoothly, stabilization works very well, and autofocus is reliable and fast. I found myself happily using the Fold 8 as my everyday camera without really having to think about it, and that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. The Fold 8 brings some really smart camera features that take advantage of this folding form factor. For example, you can use the cover screen as a preview to frame your shots and use the main rear cameras to take much better quality selfies. I also like split screen live preview, which lets you see a live feed of the photos you take as you take them to favorite them right away. Dual recording also offers a range of layouts to capture your reaction as well as what you're reacting to. There's also a new feature called My Fan Cam. Say you have a video with multiple people, My Fan Cam will detect each person and let you choose who to follow. It then uses AI to track and frame the subject. And I was really impressed by how well and fast this works. It's great for content creators like me, but I can also see families getting a lot of use from it. For example, tracking your child during a sports game or a school performance. Performance on the Fold 8 is exactly what I hoped for. It packs the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy chip with 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM depending on storage, plus you can add up to 12 gigabytes of virtual memory, another tip for my first things to do video. But what has the real world performance been like? Honestly, it's been amazing. One UI 9 on top of Android 17 runs incredibly. No matter what you're doing, multitasking, gaming on the big screen, watching videos to relax, the Fold 8 never skips a beat. I'm also happy to see Samsung continue to promise up to 7 years of software support and updates. An area that took me by surprise is battery life. For the first time, Samsung used a silicon carbon battery, allowing for more battery in less space. The 4800 mAh battery comfortably lasts me all day with mixed main screen and cover screen use. I'd say it lasts a good 1 to 2 more hours than last year's Fold 7 and about an hour less than the flagship Fold 8 Ultra. The Fold 8 can charge at up to 45 watts wired for a 63% charge in 30 minutes and wirelessly up to 20 watts. Now, one thing unfortunately still missing are magnets. Now, of course, you can buy a case, but I'd love to see Samsung add magnets built into the Fold 8 for easy and instant alignment on wireless chargers, to attach to stands, car mounts, and even add things like wallets. I know many of you are probably deciding between the Fold 8 and the Fold 8 Ultra. I am also working on a dedicated Fold 8 Ultra review video, as well as a much more in-depth comparison video between these two phones, which will go into even more detail. For now, after living with both phones, here's my overall impression. When Samsung first announced these phones, I expected the Fold 8 Ultra to be my clear favorite. The Fold 8 Ultra is undoubtedly the more capable phone. It has a larger display, flex mode, even better cameras, and bigger battery. But after living with both, it is actually the Fold 8 that surprised me the most. More than anything, it is that wider 4:3 aspect ratio display that has completely won me over and changed how I expected to use this phone. Perfect in landscape for watching videos, movies, shows, and in portrait, browsing the web, reading, sharing photos, all just feels natural. For me, the perfect folding phone would take the form factor of the Fold 8 with the cameras and larger battery of the 8 Ultra. If your priority is productivity, the Fold 8 Ultra is still the one I'd recommend. But if your priority is media consumption, portability, and simply enjoying the experience of using a foldable phone every day, I think the Fold 8 is the sweet spot for most people. At $1,899 or £1,699 for the 256GB model, it certainly isn't cheap, but you do get a lot of phone for the money. After all, it is a tablet that still folds up small enough to fit in your pocket, and even after several years now of using these folding phones, that feeling still hasn't worn off. If you'd like to learn more or are interested in picking up a Fold 8, I'll leave the purchase links down below. And if you do end up buying one, to make sure you get the most out of your new Fold 8, be sure to check out my first things to do video, which I'll leave linked on screen right now. It'll help you unlock hidden features, improve the battery life, and help it last even longer over time. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.